Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for the 29th day of August, 2018. So I was thinking yesterday was the 29th, and then I was looking at it and thinking no. But, oh, hi, ducks. Well, they're crazy here this morning. They're all coming down, and I dumped some food on the ground mistakenly. I didn't mean to do that. Now they're all fighting. Stop it. Stop it. Go, go. Oh, my goodness. They really are fighting. No, you're not a very nice guy. Go, go. Well, anyhow, what's interesting about today's numerology is 2018 reduces to 11. So 11 is a master number for illumination. We don't tend to reduce the master numbers. You can, but we tend not to because they seem to have, numerologists seem to believe that they have more value, soul value basically, than, so we leave them alone. So 11, 22, 33, all of that. You know, and then you get into angel numbers and all that good stuff. So I kind of look at the master numbers as you know, higher self tapping you on the shoulder saying, hey, pay attention to this. This is really important. So 2018 being an 11 year, it's a year for illumination. So a lot of things we're going to find out, maybe things we didn't know, you know. Some people think that it's going to go one way. Others think it's going to go another. Others are completely in the dark. So it'll be absolutely interesting to see what happens during this year. Lots of things have been illuminated already. More is going to happen. So it'll be just, it could be interesting. It could be shocking. It could be revealing. It could be any number of things. You just never know in an 11 year, do you? Well, today, also an 11 day is the 29th. So 9 and 2 is 11. So we're not going to reduce that. So we have 8, that's practical matters and structure and manifesting our legacy and all of that. We manifest our soul into the world as well. So today is a special day, and I have duck feathers all over the ground. It was a skirmish. It was a battle. I don't even know. Yeah, I don't even want to. There's Peep. He seems to be intact, but I'm hoping that the feathers didn't come from him. He's still technically a baby, even though he's almost as big as his mama. Hi. But these other ducks, they want in on some of the fun too, so they come over and they get real obnoxious. His mother would chase them all around the pond to keep them away from him. It was just the funniest thing to see how protective she was of him when he was so small. But she's been allowing us to interact with him since he was just a wee one, and it's been amazing. We didn't initiate it. She did this. The mother did. And I think maybe she did it because she knew that we would help her protect her baby because it's the only one she had. Usually ducks have more than one, and she might have, but maybe they didn't make it. But the only one we've ever seen is Pete, and he's just adorable. He actually comes up to the back door now, and he takes his bill and he pecks on the back door, saying, "Hey, I'm here. You can feed me now." It's like, no, you're a duck. Go forage. Let's count 13 and see what we have for today. I'll stop talking about ducks. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. Oh, well, another Pentacles. Given that it's an 8 day, it's unsurprising. But only here we have the Ace of Pentacles. And here we have a hand reaching out from clouds with a giant pentacle. Pentacles is about our physical presence in the world, manifestation. It's about wealth. It's about legacy. It's about basically just the mundane life on the planet, basically, in form. Pentacles is an earth element. Suit. You see a natural archway that's, well, I don't know if it's natural. It's probably one that is a rock wall. and then the vines and whatnot, the flowers they grew over the top of the archway. But through the archway, you can see mountains. There's this blue right back here is mountains, actually. You see some trees in the forefront here. But basically, when you're looking at archways or doorways, you're looking at the doorway to something new, to new experiences. And in this case, it's to our future, to our physical future here in our home, in our life, in our work. Pentacles, you'll see people practicing their craft. It's mostly about building our life here in form, building our legacy. And the aces are always the beginning. They are said to contain all of the aspects of the entire suit. Pentacles can be called coins, it can be called discs in other suits, but it's about material gain. And anything with new, or with an ace, it depends. It basically indicates and signifies something new. But you see this. Our feet are on the ground. We're going forward, aren't we? And we begin in stability and security. But where do we get that? It's not coming. The hand isn't springing up from the earth itself, is it? It's springing out from the clouds. And so what that's telling us really is that we are initially we are spirit, and all that we have, all that we need to know for life here is contained in what we know from spirit and what spirit tells us. And so basically what this is doing is the hand reaching out from the cloud, is higher selves reminding us of, you begin here. You don't begin there. You begin here and you manifest there. So that's really what that's about, at least in my opinion. But let's draw another card. And here we have the Empress, which is the third card of the major arcana. And it shows, I like the Empress card. She's almost reclining, isn't she? She's almost reclining. She's very serene. She holds her scepter. She's got a beautiful crown of stars on her head. She's got her shield down there at her side with the glyph for Venus, the planet Venus. She is the Earth Mother. She is beauty. She is grace. She is elegance. She is the focus of the Emperor, although in some decks you'll see the Emperor looking straight on at people. At the tarot reader, he's looking straight on. Oftentimes, though, in other decks, you'll see him looking back at the Empress, which is interesting. But she represents love and happiness and abundance. You can see all around her. She's sitting out in a forest scene. And so there's apples falling. And so the ducks are chasing the apples. Oh, I said I wasn't going to do that anymore. Anyway, but you see all of this abundance around her. And so she's the mother aspect, basically, of the goddess. The goddess is basically, there's three phases. You see three phases of the moon: maiden, mother, and crone. Well, the three phases in life are maiden, mother, and crone. We are a triplicity, in a sense. We have mind, body, and spirit. And as the third card of the major arcana, you're talking about a woman who is the receptive presence. She's about fertility. Oftentimes, although not in this one, you see her pregnant. And so she's giving birth to creation, or giving birth to our experiences. And so she's thought of as sort of the daughter of the moon and daughter of Venus, or the gate of heaven, I've seen it written. But she's elegant and gracious. And so when we and basically, she embodies the Ace of Pentacles. She's the queen. She's the great mother, and she's the one that is the maternal aspect of self. But let's see what all this has to do with anything else. Let's pull a rune. We'll see what it has to say. So either we are embarking upon something new, the Empress meaning fertility, that could be something new is in the offing, something new in our what we're going to manifest. Uh, these things are usually having to do with compassion and love and beauty and things that are positive. So it's not something where we're going to be manifesting anything negative today in our lives. But again, you know, she's about abundance and wealth and but wealth of spirit, really. And here we have Degas. Now, Degas is an interesting rune in the Elder Futhark. It's the 23rd rune, although some people put it at the 24th and switch it with Othala. And if you think in terms of progression, which in some respects in the runes you kind of can, but it's almost like there's little groupings of them from what I can see. Like you can see Hagalas and Nathis and Isa, you know, they're the Norn runes. They're right in, you know, in the same order with each other. They're right next to one another. And so you can see little groupings of them, but you don't always see a progression. For a time, I was kind of looking at it that way. And so I was putting Degas at the end, like some people who do runes do. But Degas is about the best, well, it's about enlightenment. So here we have an 11 days. So, you know, being the 23rd rune, though, that would be a 5 numerologically. And so that's change and fulfillment. But and in a sense, that's true because what you see here, and this is one of the most interesting interpretations of Degas that I've found. And if you see you see an X in the middle, right? So that's balanced energy exchange. That's Gebo. But at the same time, what you see is an energy flow coming into the center and then expanding outward. So you expand in, so you finish one line of energy, and then you begin a new one. And so in a very real sense, this is, again, in synchronicity with the Ace of Pentacles, the tarot card for today, that we are beginning something new. There's something new, or something new is going to begin to manifest. And generally speaking, although we do experience things that have come at us, typically it's more about what we're going to manifest. So the thing, though, about Degas is that you have an area of synchronicity that is, or alignment that maybe you don't expect, but at the same time, you should probably expect it. You should experience these synchronicities in your life. You should, because they're coming at you all the time. You may not be aware of them, but they really are coming at you all the time. So is it something that happens to us? Is it the synchronicity that happens to us? Or are we more involved than we realize? I just believe that we manifest everything we see. And even if that simply means we manifest our own perceptions about what we see, we're still manifesting what we see because then at some point we're either choosing to respond to it or not, or we're choosing to I have a duck, you know, there's a skirmish going on down here beneath my feet. It's not fun. But basically what we're talking about is energy at its saturation point becoming the opposite. And it's an interesting concept. It's like we've gone as far as we can go, and we need to make a decision. Something new has to happen. Something different has to happen. Something else has to manifest. It can mean a new day. It can mean financial increase. It can mean an attitude change. It can mean light, enlightenment, cosmic consciousness, the creative force. But basically, it's about awakening into something new. And we talk about ascension. And I saw this thing yesterday on Alfred Labermont Weber's YouTube thing. He was talking about ascension. And admittedly, I wasn't following what he was saying closely enough. I was doing something else at the time I was listening to it, so I need to actually go back and listen again. But we're talking about a transition in awareness. We can also talk about maybe other kinds of transitions. Yeah, maybe the planet itself. He was talking about that the planet itself is going through uh, uh, its transition into a new density. We talk about that when we talk about ascension. But when we see Degas come up, to me, that's really what this is actually the rune of ascension, where we are coming to a close in one level of spiritual awareness and moving into another one. Now, will there be the big solar flash we hear about? I don't know, maybe. There's something's wrong with the sun, though. That much I know. Well, I don't know that it's wrong, I should say. There's something different about it. It's white. It's difficult to go out during the afternoon in the 10 to 2 period when the sun's supposedly at its strongest, because it's hard to see, actually. Visually, it's different around here now. The sun is whiter. The yellowness is gone. It's and it's not, and I'm not talking about how it's reflecting the smoke that's in the air because due to the fires or anything like that, or the chemtrails that are up there or any of that. There's something different with the sun, and so I don't know for sure what that is. Perhaps it's doing its own transition. Wouldn't surprise me. It's just an energy source anyway. I don't think the sun is at all what we think it is. But at the same time, I think what we're experiencing is maybe, and sure, there may be physical changes on the planet as all this goes on, but I don't know that it's more, I think it's more about the whole spiritual resonance within that's changing. For some, they're really in the service to self area, they're really doubling down on the whole service to self. It's all about them. And then the rest of them that are service to others, they're more concerned with how everyone's faring through all of this. They're not just thinking about, well, what's in it for me? And so whatever this transition, and I view Degas as an ascension type of transition spiritually that we make. And that's why I think people were putting it at the end of the Elder Futhark instead of Othala, which in a sense, is our Akash, it's our ancestral heritage, it's all of the runes contained into one. So I understand why they put it there. And maybe that's the outcome of the Enlightenment. And that's how I finally came to this whole thing, that finally, after you have your enlightenment about who you really are and what all this is all about, then we understand Othala. Okay, then you understand what that's all about. And so I ended up putting it back there. So I did the restructuring for a while and then I put it back. But Degas, I think in terms of the Ace of Pentacles, I think that this is the other side of this. I think this is now, what are we going to manifest now that we have this spiritual awakening? Because I don't think it's an event necessarily. There may be an event as part of it, but I think that the true ascension is the spiritual awakening within. So I think that whether or not everybody else has done this, and trust me, lots of people have, I think we all just need to go do that. If that's where we are in our development, if we've made this awareness change, if we've made this understanding, if we've achieved this understanding that we are more than these bodies, that we are in fact the spirit that embodies this, and that this is all a manifestation of that, then we just need to live that. And everyone else will catch up in their own way and in their own time. So it doesn't mean that you don't watch what's happening, because some of it's really interesting, if not entertaining. Unless it's the real bad stuff, that's not so entertaining. Watching knowing that there's over 500 kids still separated from their families at the, on the border, and that they may never see them again. That's not entertaining. But it sure is something to look at and to gain some awareness from in terms of who we want to be and who we really are. Are we that kind of a person? that does that to people, to innocent children? Is that really who we are? It isn't who I am. It isn't who most of the people I know are. There's a couple though. I don't know. You never know. But at the they probably aren't either. But the at the end of the day, we are all in this process of awakening to who we are inside, and letting that inform how we manifest in the world. So there you go. Not too much ranting today. And the ducks have not attacked my toes, so that's a plus. Yesterday, they sat on me. It was, I mean, they thought, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I'm doing the duck thing again. Anyhow, okay, so that's what we have for today. We have Degas, we have the Ace of Pentacles, and we have the Empress. Let's go see what we can do with all of that. See how we can what we can manifest, how we can manifest spirit, letting spirit inform that whole process. See what we can do today to do that, and maybe extend the blessings of the Empress in our life. So thanks so much for stopping by, and the ducks thank you. Yeah, they thank you, even though they're a band of marauding ducks. They thank you. Anyhow, thanks for stopping by. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside. Go over there and check out the blog. I put some stuff up in the last couple of days. I've put some new posts up. And the one I did yesterday, actually, it's kind of long. I'm doing this Exploring Tarot series on the blog, and really it's just exploring my tarot decks that I have. But I don't just have tarot decks. I have some oracle decks as well. And I got a couple new ones recently. One is the Druid Plant Oracle, and the other is the Hedge Witch Botanical Oracle. And because they deal with herbs, I decided to do a post on them together. And I talked about those two oracle decks, which are very, very cool. You know, I'm an herbalist, and therefore I identify as a hedge witch. I'm not Wiccan. I was born a witch, and it's throughout my family, through my ancestry. So this is just something that we are, some of us in our family. And but I've always identified with herbs. I have a druid background as well. And so much of this that I do in terms of the practicing the craft is herb related and nature related. So the hedge witch name sort of stuck, and otherwise I don't call myself anything other than a witch. So the tradition is probably more Norse tradition than anything else, not because someone told me to, but because I was drawn there. And clearly with my druid ancestry, that's probably why. Hey, stop that. Oh, don't do that. You don't do that. That's not nice. That's not nice. And you're going after Peep, I think. That's not good at all. Yeah, you're not a very nice duck. She's not a wild one either. That's weird. But anyway, I found these two oracle decks, and I really, really like them. The Celtic feel is nice, and especially with the Druid Plant Oracle. So anyway, I did a thing about that on the blog. So go over there and check it out if you like. It's at imsteppingaside.com, and we'll just go ahead and close this out, and we'll see you tomorrow, along with the ducks, and hopefully this pan one will, get some manners in the meantime. So have a lovely day, and thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow, and blessed be.